guys, and welcome to my channel.
You can see we've got this beautiful array of different colors, right? So for the vegetables of the stew, we're going to use carrots, we're going to use zucchini, better known as baby marrow in South Africa, and we are going to use some sweet corn. So I just used 2 sweet corns and I cut it into 4. These are 2 carrots and this is 3 baby marrows, right? And then I've got my onion, and then I've got my robot peppers, my red, green and yellow peppers, right? Then I've got my boiki, which is basically normal beef stew. And what I'm going to do with my beef stew for this particular recipe is that I am actually going to marinate it before I sear it. So right now that I have got my meat, I'm going to go in with my spice. So this is like a barbecue steak and chop spice. I'm just going to put some of that in there. And I'm basically just eyeballing it. So you don't want to put a lot, you don't want to put too little, because remember, even after searing it, I'm still going to add spice. This is paprika, right? And then I am going to add this. So this is a steak and chop marinade. I bought this at Checkers, right? It actually adds a lot of depth to one's stew. So I'm just going to put in a tablespoon of this marinade, right? And then let your hands work and mix everything together. As soon as I've got now all of this nicely marinated, as you can see, everything is beautifully coated. I am now going to actually sear my meat. I've got some oil in the pan and you can see it's like piping hot now. And vele to sear, you need like your oil to be extremely hot. So I'm just going to drop that in there, right? And basically what searing does is it helps lock in the flavor of the beef. And it just takes out the meaty flavor of it, like the rich flavor of the beef. So searing your meat when you're making stew is the best thing you can actually do for yourself. The meat has been seared on both sides. You can then remove it, right? As you can see, we've got some pieces which are like beautifully charred here. So I've removed all my meat, right? And look at all this oil that's left. Like, all of this is flavor, right? So we're going to use this to cook. However, this is too much oil for me. I really am not a fan of oily food. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a cup and I'm going to remove some of the oil. Remember, as we were searing, the beef also released some of its oil, right? So hence now there's much more oil than there was initially, right? So then now I'm going to start with my stew. So I've got some Briyani mix. Remember I told you, this stew, guys, is that stew that, you know, you cook to impress. So I'm just going to put in a bit of the Briyani mix, right? And what you want to do is you just want it to release its aromatics. And then always then start also, you know, scraping the bottom of your pan, right? Because you don't want there to be burnt pieces. This is flavor, it's not burned, right? It's the char from the meat. So just, yeah, move that around. As you can see, your fennel will then start changing color, you know, to like a brownish color. As soon as that is then done, your fennel is popping and everything, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to then add in my onion, right? I'm going to add in my onion. I'm going to go in with my peppers. This is just a handful, right? A heaped handful of onions and peppers, and I'm just going to move all of this around. And as I said, this is a stew that, you know, when to fry this stew, you've got the different colors working together in here. You know, if you want to impress, this is the stew you make. Seeing your onions are now like more on the translucent side of things, right? I'm going to go in with this is curry powder, a heaped tablespoon of curry powder, and then mix that in. And then remember with curry powder, guys, you don't just put in curry powder and then put in everything else. Your curry powder needs to burn, yeah, you know, so that it releases its flavor, all the aromatics, you know, that it comes with. So just move that around, make sure the curry powder has covered you know, all of your onion and peppers and everything else that's in here. And then don't forget to just also, you know, the side of the pot, there's stuff that usually gets left there. Right, so just let that sit for like an extra 30 seconds so that your curry powder gets to burn and incorporate with the other ingredients. So I've had this going now for like a minute, right, and it's ready for me to put back my beef, right? And you can see the beef has released some of its own juices, and you want all of that back into the pot, right? So just put all of this in. And these juices as well. This is all flavor. And then mix it all together. And then now I'm just going to start with the spices that I'm going to use for my beef. I've got some herbs here. This is dried parsley. So I'm going to put in some dried parsley, about a tablespoon of dried parsley. I've got some dried rosemary. I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of dried rosemary. I've got mixed herbs, another tablespoon of that, some coarse black pepper, tablespoon. No, I've got some ground coriander, just a teaspoon of that. I've got some barbecue spice, and I'm going to go in with a tablespoon of barbecue spice. Everything. Right, I want to make sure that the meat is nicely coated with the spices. Yeah. And then what I do is I am not going to use any type of what you call these things, any stock or anything like that which is salty. So what I'm going to use is I'm just going to use some Himalayan salt, right, and I'm going to grind that in. And remember, salt is to taste, right? So I'm just going to grind in like a teaspoon of salt, of Himalayan salt. Yeah, and then just mix that in. To go in with some Worcestershire sauce, about 10 drops of this, right? Whatever you choose to call it, that one. And it's always nice to put in Worcestershire sauce when you're making stew or any sort of meat. Actually, it acts as a tenderizer and also brings out the flavor since it's acidic, right? Listen, beef goes very well with tomato sauce, so I'm going to put in about a quarter cup of tomato sauce, and I'm going to mix that in. Now it's time for us to actually come in with our vegetables, right? So I've got my vegetables here. I'm going in now with my zucchini, baby marrow, got my carrots, and as you see, like everything is like roughly chopped, right? And my sweet potato, and all of this goes in raw. And then I'm just now going to try and stir everything in, you know, and try to incorporate all of this, because I wanted to also get, you know, the exact flavor that the meat has. Obviously, stew, all of this needs to cook, so I'm gonna go in with some water. This is about how much? It was half a liter of water. Yeah, and that's enough because you don't want too much water at the same time, you know. So just, yeah, Guys, mixing is important. Never underestimate the power of mixing. You know, you want to make sure that everything is mixed well together. Everything is well, you know, incorporated. Anything that's flying out, you know, put it back in. Like, we need you in the stew. So just, yeah, try and mix as best as you can. And then now I'm going to leave this to go. I'm going to check it again after 30 minutes. So my stew has been cooking now for the past 1.5 hours. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. Like absolutely amazing. And you can see how rich it is. Like, it is so rich, you know. Look at that. Sure. Yo, mouth watering. So then, now that my stew is done and my what you call this, my meat is tender, I'm going to just thicken my stew. And to do that, I'm just going to take a stew thickener. So any stew thickener you have, I'm just going to use a tablespoon of that there, because I want my stew to be, you know, not too thick, but it mustn't be as runny as it is currently is. So you see already, like, just with that little tablespoon of the thickener, the stew has already transformed. You can see how thicker it is now. And I'm just going to close my pot and I'm going to let it cook for an extra 5 minutes so that the thickener also cooks. Then my stew is going to be ready. And just like that, my stew is ready. Look at how beautiful that looks. Look at that. Oh, look at all of this. All of this goodness. All of this goodness.